Hi and welcome to Polly Puts the Colour On. In this video I'm going to be sharing all of my completed pages for the months of July, August and September 2024. So I thought it would be nice to have a record to look back on, and you know, it's not too far back in the past, so my colouring style hasn't changed too much since last year. I don't really want to go any further back than that because obviously my colouring, you know, has improved slightly over time. So if you are enjoying these kind of collection videos, please remember to subscribe and click like, because it'll help the videos to show up in your YouTube feed in the future, but also it will help to push the video out to more people. And I will also try and link as many books as I can in the description down below. There will be Amazon affiliate links, but they won't cost you anything extra to purchase that way. So let me get them moved out of the way. As you can see, there's rather a lot. And the first one I want to share with you is Eerie, the Fairy Tale one. So the pages that I got done in this one was this double page spread here. I was really proud of this one. It took an awfully long time, as you can imagine. So I used my Castle Art soft touch pencils for all of the pencil work, which is quite a lot of it, and then I came in with some watercolor paints here and there, so all the shiny bits are either gel pen or watercolor paints, and I used some glossy accents there on the clock door to try and make it look like there was glass in front of it. And again on this side it's all Castle Art soft touch and a little bit of paint and some not stickles, the not glossy accents, like the pearl drop ones. They're kind of very similar, aren't they, in the bottles, to add a bit of detail here and there, and then some stickles on the sky, try and add a bit of a sheen there. So it took quite a long time, but I did use some of the colour combinations that I used on one side I brought across onto the other. So I just had a big pile of pencils kept in a pot on my desk and just kept chipping away at it. So it took a little while, but I'm glad that I did it because it is really cute pages. Obviously Eerie's artwork is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? So that's the first one that I've got to share with you. Well, the first two, I suppose, with it being a double page spread. I have to excuse the light coming in. I've done my best to block it out, but with the sun shining today through the window, it's been really difficult to try and block it out. So let me just try and adjust things again a bit. Right, there we go. I think that's the light problem hopefully sorted, but we'll see. So next book that I've got to share with you is Spooky. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on the new one. I believe it's out now in America and I think Canada. I've got mine pre-ordered, but it hasn't come yet, so eagerly waiting that. So the page that I got done in July was this page. So I did base quite a lot of it with alcohol markers, went in and did a little bit of pencil shading here and there, and some bits I did just colour just with pencil as well. Then I added some distress ink for the background, splattered some shiny watercolour paint, and then used some glittery watercolour paint from the Art Spirits for kind of the glass effect around the edge. I know it doesn't make it look completely like glass, but I think it makes it look enough like glass with the sparkle, that I'm happy with it, rather than spending hours and hours trying to make it look really like glass. Especially with these style of illustrations, I feel like you don't need to make it look super realistic, do you? And it's still going to look really nice. So I'm going to move that book out of the way because I have got a page to share with you in there for other months as well. So we've got a page in Universe and by Maria Troll. And the page that I got done in July was this fun page. So I used Prismacolors for all of the pencil work, some glitter gel pen down on kind of the bike and the tyres. You can put the shine up there, and then some watercolour paint for the background. It kind of bled through a bit at the top and bottom, but that was more how I applied it rather than the paper not actually being able to cope with it. So as you can see, I used two different colours. They're kind of like the split granulating paints. I will link the company down below. They're Dracula, as in like Dracula, and they've got loads of pretty kind of different split paints, as well as lots of different shiny paints and all sorts. So this one didn't take too long, because obviously it's only actually a small bit to colour, and then just had a lot of fun doing the background. I think I actually did the background first on this page, which is unusual for me. Normally I do the background last. So we will be coming back to this book soon, because I did do a page in it in September as well, actually. So then we've got a page in Millie Marotta's Animal Kingdom. This was my very first ever adult colouring book, so it is very precious to me. So the page that we got done in July was this giraffe page. So this would have been done for a colour palette, the monthly colour palette that Amanda Colour normally shares based on the colour cubes, which is why it's quite a limited colour palette. This is normally 5 different colours. She even suggests the Prismacolors that will match, so I always find it's a nice easy way to get a page done, and I think it works perfectly with this style of illustration by Millie Marotta, because they're quite simple but also a little bit detailed, so having a limited set of colours to work from really does make it a lot easier. And then, being as you've already had a sneak peek, this one was done in August, but you've kind of already seen it anyway, so I may as well share this one with you as well. So this was done in August 2024. This was just watercolour markers, and then because it's one of the early books, it had got a little bit of random writing, which is why I've got the washi tape on, which does kind of look a little bit random, but it was kind of that, or I didn't really know how to get rid of the writing, and at least the colours kind of match, so I was kind of happy enough with covering the writing up that way. And then I also did another page in this one in July. Again, nice limited colour palette, again with Prismacolors, and again there was a random little bit of writing down here, so I put a bit of washi tape over to cover it. And then I thought, right, there's a bit of washi tape there, so then I just stuck some other random bits of it up at the top as well, just to help kind of tie it all together. But this obviously is quite a small design, so this didn't take too long to do. This book is kind of about as finished as this one's going to get, I think. There's still a lot of uncoloured pages, as you can see, but a lot of them are not pictures that I'm particularly drawn to. So there might be the odd one or two that I come back to. Like, I think that one's quite sweet, and that wouldn't take too long. It's not too detailed, but there's a lot in here. I like the bird. Don't really, I don't know. So I don't think this one's going to get coloured in too much more, but we'll see. I might go back and do a few more. And then we've got Lulu Mayo's A Million Baby Animals. So the page that I did in July last year was this fun page. So I used water-based markers for all of this, and then went in with a tiny bit of pencil shading, especially on the bird and the koalas, just to smooth it out a bit of gel pen, and then I used a really pretty light blue watercolor paint for in the big bubble and also the little bubbles, and it's not gone through at all on the other side, especially with it being a light color, and I was careful with how much water I applied. So I'm really pleased with this page. Such a fun bright color palette, which I think you can get away with, can't you, with Lulu Mayo's artwork. You can try all sorts of different things, and they all just turn out looking quite cool because it's just such sweet designs that she does. And then we've got another Lulu Mayo book that I coloured in July last year, and it is the Kawaii Tarot one. And the page that I got done was this page here. So I used just various cheap pencils that I'd got in a pot on my desk for all of the coloured elements. Also used some Prismacolors for kind of the trees, and then a load of gel pens and some watercolour paints for the edges. It's kind of gone through a little bit on the back. This paper's not the best, which is a shame because it's a gorgeous book. So I think next time I colour in this, I'm going to have to rethink using quite so much gel pen and watercolour paint, because it's just the risk of the other side, especially if there's a design on the reverse. But I was really quite pleased though with how this turned out, because it's just so bright and vibrant and very, very neon, but that's kind of the look I was going for because I thought it turned out really cool. So let me get the paper back in that one. And then we're back to another eerie book. This time, I think this one's the world literature one, isn't it? So in the July last year, I coloured this one. So this was the first page that I coloured in this book. And I used my Arteza watercolour pencils for this one. And then went over some of the line work with gel pens. So you can see kind of on the grass and bits in the flower. Added a little bit of shading here and there to some bits, like the trees and some of the flowers. But I kept a lot of it just as the watercolour pencil effect because I just think it looks so pretty that way. And it was kind of the effect I was going for. Bright, but also kind of soft in a way, if that makes sense. And the paper's great. It's crinkled it a bit, but nothing's gone through. Even though obviously I had to activate the watercolour pencils with water. It's not gone through, even like the bright purple has been fine. So that was actually, although it's quite, obviously these are quite big books, because there's obviously a lot of grass and I just used one colour there. See, one colour for most of the branches and the trunk of the tree. It didn't actually take too long, that one, and that was a lot of fun to get my watercolour pencils out because I don't always use them all that often. So that was fun, and I absolutely adore Erie's books. As you can see, I went back to another Erie book in August, and the one that I got coloured in this one in August was this one. So I used my Castle Art Soft Touch pencils, which I do quite often in Erie's books, because I find they work quite nicely on it. And I've got a little like my swatch book for my Castle Art, but then I've made notes in it as well about different colour combinations. So I believe I've written down the colours that I've used for the cats, and I've got colours for kind of all the main characters and other repeated elements jotted down in there as well. Partly just to make things a bit easier for me when I'm colouring, but also it just helps to make it look a bit more cohesive, because hopefully eventually the books will be a lot fuller, but you know, need more hours in the day. So I used Castle Art Soft Touch for most of this, but I did use some ink tints here on those bottles, and then in the crystals and the crystal balls. So as you can see, it gave a lovely magical kind of mixed effect there. Went round with lots of gel pen, white gel pen, lots of glitter over there. Decided not to add anything to the background. I did colour the floor, but I decided not to add anything to the background because I kind of thought by the time I'd coloured like this big scroll and all the leaves and everything, I thought we didn't really need it. I thought we could just leave it as being like a nice cream wall behind those cats. And I love the expression on his face, like he's looking down at those ones that are being a bit naughty, a bit cheeky, one's even having a nap. Doesn't look impressed at all, does he? And it does make me smile, the look on his face. So that's Erie's World Legends. Then we're back to the spooky colouring book. It's my most coloured in book, and I did this one. So as you can see, I didn't use alcohol markers for this, but I did use ink tints and watercolour pencils for basically all of it, which is why you can see in the background it is a little bit patchy. It didn't activate really well, because I use my watercolour pencils in the background, and they're Arteza. They're not, you know, particularly cheap, but they're also obviously not the most expensive. And this is nice paper, but it obviously just kept the grain, like where I'd laid the pencil down. Worked it and worked it and worked it, and I thought, oh, I'm going to ruin the paper, so I just left it, and I've just embraced it as being like texture in the sky, and then added a load of shiny watercolour paints here and there as well, and then just really, really lightly coloured the clouds. Probably doesn't really look as if they've been coloured on camera, but they were done with a really, really soft kind of peachy pink colour. So that was a lot of fun to do. A bit different with this page not having the actual main cat character on, but they're fun little characters. They repeat through the book. So that was fun to do, and we'll be back looking at this book again soon, because I coloured a page in that one in September as well. So in August last year, I worked in Hannah Carlson's Summer Nights and had a lot of fun experimenting. So I used some glitter gel pens that I've got, just some old ones that I'm still trying to use up. So I coloured all of the beetle with those. So it's super duper shiny and sparkly. And then in the background had a play with some oil pastels. So I bought a cheap pack of oil pastels years ago. I think it was in Aldi from the special buys, but never really used them all that much. But then I discovered Coloured by Maya's channel and thought, wow, she uses them such a lot. They look like such a lot of fun, especially in nice big areas. So I got them out, had a nice play with them. As you see, it's not got the smoothest finished, but actually I quite like that because I think that just adds to the effect. Almost kind of looks like flames or something in the background. And then I use the tip that she shares quite often of using the satin glazing liquid. So the only reason I bought it was because Maya suggested that it was a really good way of, kind of sealing your oil pastels. And it's brilliant. It's so easy to apply. Doesn't ruin you. I keep one brush aside and obviously wash it afterwards. But it's just so easy to put it on over the top of the oil pastel and it doesn't take too long to dry. It takes a little while, but it's not like it's days and days, and it's perfect. It doesn't just seals it. Oil pastel's not coming off, hasn't gone through on the other side at all. So yeah, I do need to remember to get my oil pastels out a little bit more, especially when there's nice big areas, because they can work brilliantly in those nice big spaces. So then we've got a Johanna Basford book, Enchanted Forest. And again, had a lot of fun with some oil pastels on this. So you see, I went slightly different, well, kind of similar colours, but in a different effect. Got a bit of a smoother finish this time. All the black bit was just a black water-based marker. Coloured the bug just with some bright gel pens that I'd got so that he'd stand out, and again just sealed it with the satin glazing liquid afterwards. So that was it, a little bit fiddly to colour in all the lines on the black, for the leaves to make them all black. But actually, obviously, it didn't take too long because there wasn't a lot really going on. One black pen, couple of gel pens, then the oil pastel and the satin glazing liquid to finish. I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. It was a lot of fun again getting the oil pastels out. And then because I tend to take this book away on holiday with me now, I always used to take a Lulu Mayo book because obviously they're nice and small. And then I thought, actually, I'd quite like one day to have Ivy and the Inky Butterfly finished. I thought one way of trying to make sure that I can kind of keep chipping away at getting some pages done is to take it away with me when we go away in the summer holidays. So the pages that I got done last year in our summer holiday in August last year, I got this page done. So there's some Inktense on here because I take a little set of Inktense pencils with me. There's Castle Art Soft Touch and some glitter gel pens. So I take quite limited supplies away with me because obviously we're flying on the plane. We quite often go to America, so it's got to fit in hand luggage and not be too heavy. But I do tend to buy some supplies while I'm away as well, so sometimes they obviously get used on pages. And then I also did this double page as well while we were away. So this obviously took a while because it is a double page and all of these little hydrangea petals, although it's just one colour, it was quite fiddly to do. So again, it's Inktense and Castle Art Soft Touch pencils and some glitter gel pens. And I decided against adding anything to the background when I got back off holiday. So I thought, actually, I just quite like how it looks. I went over some of the line work with gel pens as well. And I really like how I used a pink one here. And it really makes that leaf pop. So yeah, I'll be taking this book away with me again this year in my summer holidays. So hopefully August completed pages, that you'll see in September. You'll probably see, hopefully, at least one, if not more pages finished in that one. And then in September, because I'd picked this up on our holiday last year, and it was only $4 rather from Dollarama, I believe in Canada as well, so the exchange rate was brilliant. It worked out really, really cheap. It's my only mythographic book because, to be honest, they're a bit too fiddly for me, but I thought at that price I thought I couldn't pass it up. So I did this one. So I used alcohol markers for quite a bit of it, water-based markers as well, some pencils, some gel pen, watercolor paints as well for kind of the swirly bits in the sky and the clouds. So it is not the best coloured page, to be honest, but I picked it out because I thought it looked like one of the simplest ones out of the book. Had a lot of fun doing it. I just wasn't particularly pleased with how it came out, but it's a page coloured. Hopefully I'll get back to this book at some point, but I just need to be in the mood for doing something quite detailed, because like this is gorgeous with the tigers on, but it's just working out what's what, isn't it? And there's just so, like, this is gorgeous, but again, really fine fiddly details. So I don't think this book's going to get coloured in too much, but I am pleased to have it in my collection because it is lovely artwork just to look at. Like, this is gorgeous, but I think trying to work out what's what, I think it'd drive me up the wall a little bit. So that's Mythographic Illusion. And then we've got Mythogoria again. Got this from Dollarama for just $4. So couldn't pass it up. This one's Darkest Desires. Again, it's my only Mythogoria, and I only really got it because it was an absolute bargain. I do think the artwork in this one is a little bit, still not simple, but easier, I think, to work out what's what. So I have coloured a couple of pages in this book, and this is one that I did in September 2024. So I used water-based markers and alcohol markers for most of it, then went in with some lovely gold watercolour paint and added black acrylic marker as well, just to make everything pop. And it was a lot of fun to do, and it wasn't too tricky, this one, to work out what was what. So that I quite enjoyed colouring that one, even though it is a little bit scary looking. It wasn't too challenging. Like, there's a lot of really cool pages in here, and I think it just looks a little bit easier to work out what's what. So I might get back to this one again, maybe October this year. Maybe colour something in for Halloween, we'll see. Then we've got another Johanna Basford book, Lost Ocean. Now, I normally colour in this one when I'm in the mood for colouring something with my fine liners that's maybe a little bit detailed. So I decided on this double page spread. So I'd got some gel pens and fine liners and just old water-based markers that I kind of wanted to use up. They still didn't run out, even though I did all of this. And there wasn't that much ink in them to start with. Somehow they were still going by the end. So it's not the best colour palette, but that's kind of why I was using those kind of some dark colours like the purple and the black, and then those much brighter colours of the orange and the pink and the green. So I kind of like how it turned out. Decided not to do anything for the background because I couldn't really decide what colour would go with it. And I thought it might just make it look too busy because it is quite a busy page. So it took a little while, that one, as you can imagine, because it was so detailed. But kind of once I'd worked out what colours I was doing in one little chunk, obviously I could just repeat those colours throughout. So it was nice to get a double page spread done in that one. Then we've got this huge book by Anne Stokes. Again, this was a Dollarama bargain on my holidays last year. And the page that I did last September was this dragon page. So this was quite a quick one to do because I used one red alcohol marker, one green alcohol marker, one black gel pen, one gold gel pen, and then some oil pastel in the background. And again, fixed it with the satin glazing liquid. And obviously added a little bit of gel pen details as well on the dragons. So that was super duper quick to do because obviously there wasn't that many colours. So I was really pleased with how that one turned out. There's some gorgeous pictures in here, and obviously it's single-sided. There is a Christmas one as well in here somewhere, which I had wanted to do last year, and then I just never quite got around to it. Like, there's a nice pumpkin one there. And I'm sure there is there's like a Christmas wreath one there, and then one where it's like in a present. So there is quite a mix. There is also quite a few which I don't think I'll necessarily colour, that've got characters in as well, although that's quite a pretty one, but I'm just not confident at colouring portraits, so we'll see. I might colour one of those at some point. But yeah, gorgeous book that, and an absolute bargain as well, so I was really pleased to get that when I was on holiday. Then we're back to Lulu Mayo, A Million Puppies this time. So the page that I coloured last September was this sweet page. So I used just a handful of Prismacolors and then some glaze pens, glitter gel pens, and then some lovely glittery silver watercolour paint in the background. I think that one's from the Art Spirits. And yeah, just had an awful lot of fun with that one. The black background was already in, and then just coloured in some of the details and added a few extra in the background. So I love the colours that I used on this one because it's just so different. Like really nice and bright, not pastel, not subtle at all, this one. So I was really pleased with how that came out. The paper back on there, and the prismas worked quite nicely on the paper as well. So I've not got many done in that one because obviously it's a relatively new book. So that was A Million Puppies. Then we've got Angelica Scudamore Garden Enchantments. So I've did, it's quite a big book, did this, it's kind of a double page spread, but kind of not, isn't it? So there's not that much on this side. So I used water-based markers and some gel pens here for the details on this side. And then over this side, again, water-based markers and some gel pens. So this was quite a lot of fun to do, to pick out the colours for, say, spikes, but obviously the spikes made out of leaves, and then use some acrylic marker pens here and there as well, like on his face and a few other places. So this was a lot of fun to do. I really love the patterns that are in the pictures in this book. Again, I think I saw this book first on Coloured by Maya's channel, because she just goes through, and if she fancies colouring something, she colours it. And I haven't done that, but that was kind of my intention when I got the book, of just colouring here and there. So we'll see. Maybe I might get round to embracing that at some point, because it would be nice. Especially be a nice way to try and use up some of my older supplies before they get dry. So that's a gorgeous book, and there is a lot of pages in it as well, so it was really good value and really nice paper as well. So then we've got Shooting Star by Maria Troll, and the page that I coloured in September last year was like the very first page. So I used some supplies that were new to me when I coloured this, and it's just a very limited set that I bought open stock of the Supracolor 2 Softs by Karen Dash. So I picked up just kind of a handful of them while I was away on holiday. So I've got quite a limited amount of colours, but they worked perfectly together for this, and then went in with some gel pens to cover up some of the black lines, and some glittery gel pens as well for like the stars and things. So I really love how this turned out. It was quite quick to do because obviously it is quite a simple illustration. I'd only got those handful of pencils to use anyway, and it worked really nicely. Like, it's crinkled the paper, but it hasn't gone through, even though obviously the watercolour pencils, I did have to activate them. So I'm thinking I might challenge myself in this book and only use my Supracolor 2s. We'll see. It just depends on the illustration. It might be that I have to bring some of my other watercolour pencils in as well. But I thought that might be a nice challenge to give myself for this book, and make it look kind of quite cohesive altogether, but we'll see. So then I'm back to another Millie Marotta book, this time Tropical Wonderland. And the page that I coloured September last year was this armadillo. So again, it would have been the Amanda Colours palette. This was all Prismacolors, which obviously colouring in the little fiddly bits, you do need to keep sharpening your pencil, especially with them being Prismacolors, to make sure that you can stay in the fine details. But it's just so useful to just know, right, these 5 colours, get them out, use them to colour with, and then that's that. So then I use some gel crayons for the background, a little bit of washi tape, because there's a little bit of writing here. Might still just about be able to make it out, but it covered up well enough, I think. So I covered up the bit of writing and then just added the other bits in as well, so that hopefully it didn't stand out too much. And I love how now I've got a double page here together. It's just such different colour palettes, but I think it looks really cool together. I do love, these are my favourite kind of style of illustrations by Millie Marotta, where she's made the animal out of like the leaves and the flower patterns. I just think it's so clever, and they can just be quite quick to colour as well and get a gorgeous finish. So that was Millie Marotta's Tropical Wonderland. Then we're back to spooky again, and the page I did in September was this one. So again, as I do quite often with it, it's pretty much single-sided. I know there's a bit of writing, but I use just a little bit of alcohol marker. Then I got my Black Widow pencils out, bit of gel pen, watercolour paints there, and then in the background again I use my watercolour pencils. So again, it didn't get a super smooth finish, but actually I quite like the texture that it gives the pattern on there. I did debate whether to write something on the label, but in the end I couldn't decide what to do, so I just ended up leaving it blank. You never know, I might go in sometime and add a label, but I don't know. Still don't know what to put. And then I spattered a little bit of watercolour paint in the background as well. So this book is really filling up. I think it's approaching 50% complete now, this one. It's definitely my most coloured in book. Then the last page that I've got to share with you for this video, we're back to Maria Troll's Universum, and the page that I did last September was this one. So the black background was already there, which helped, and then I used just a little bit of pencil there for a face, and then the rest of it was kind of some pencils and then lots of glitter gel pens as well for kind of her hair, the water. It's kind of a bit of both, isn't it? And then some washi tape around the border. So I really love how this one came out. I think this was part of a group buddy colour as well. On Instagram, so it's not necessarily a page I would have definitely gone to, but I was pleased that I did it, and it didn't take too long. I had to be careful not to smudge the gel pen. That was kind of the hardest thing, really. I had to colour it in pieces, like I do a bit and then think, I need to go back there, but I'm going to smudge the gel pen, so I had to make myself put it to one side before it dried. So that's Maria Troll's Universum, and that's the last page that I've got to share with you for July to September of 2024. So it'd be lovely to hear from you in the comments which has been your favourite book that I've shared. Is there a particular page that you really like? And like I say in most of my videos, if you'd like to do a buddy colour, please get in touch, even if it's in a few months' time that you're watching this video. Always up for doing a buddy colour. You could drop me a comment down below or get in touch with me on Instagram. I am the same name on Instagram as I am on here. Polly Puts the Colour On. Obviously, if you've watched to the end, thank you so much, and please click like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on future content, because it does make a big difference in pushing my videos out to more people. Obviously, the more people that see it, the better. Because I'm obviously trying to reach as many people as possible to try and make some more colouring friends. So thank you so much for joining me. Please click subscribe so that you don't miss out on future content, and take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.